Good morning everyone. Welcome back to the second video of chapter number 5. In the first video, I told you about the evolution of media. In that I just explained you I told you about some facts which are related to how people used to convey the information or their messages. Before, it was they used to paint or they used to carve in the case, and then afterwards there came the Egyptians just invented a material called papyrus, and with that papyrus they wrote on that letter came into existence. And then afterwards we saw that after the progress in the civilization, people used to send messages with the help of the birds or the animals. Okay. And we saw in that three types of media. First one was print media, second was broadcast media, and third one was the internet. So today we will continue this chapter with print media. So let's start with the topic print media. Publications such as newspapers, magazines, journals and newsletters are collectively known as the print media. So which material is called as print media, on which we just print something on the paper, we print and we publish it. That is, you just get newspaper daily at your home, then magazines, then we have journals. Journals, it is a kind of newspaper or a magazine that deals with the particular subject, talking about some specific subject. Then we have newsletters. They are collectively known as, means altogether they are known as print media. Then next paragraph is, in the English speaking world, the earliest predecessors means before of the newspaper, means before the coming of the newspaper, were Corantos. Before the newspapers came into existence, before that we used to have Corantos. It is a small news pamphlets produced only when some noteworthy event occurred. When they are being published or when they are being sent only at certain time period. Which time period? When there is something to know, to give notification to the people about something, about the event or anything. After Jonas, it is Jonas, as it is a German word, so there is no J pronunciation, you have to pronounce it. Johannes Gutenberg invented the printing press in 1455 CE. So here, in which year? In year 1455 CE, Johannes Gutenberg, he invented the printing press. Mass printing gradually became available. Then afterwards came into existence the mass printings. The first true newspaper in English was the London Gazette. The first newspaper in English was, and the name of that newspaper was the London Gazette, and it was published in the year 1666. Newspapers helped form public opinion, especially when nations were in conflicts or crisis. Conflicts means people who involve in session of arguments. Conflict means some sort of argument. People, when they are involved in some sort of arguments, it is called as conflict. Crisis means a time of great difficulty, large in amount. If there is a kind of great difficulty in large amount, then it is called as crisis. And during the times of war, so during the time of war, during the time of conflicts or crisis, newspapers helped form public opinion. In that, newspaper took the main role to form public's opinion. Then after the Industrial Revolution, both the number of papers and their paid circulations continued to rise. So after that, after the industrial revolution, the number of papers also increased, and their paid circulation continued to rise. It just rose a lot. Then the modern form of newspaper with its bold banner, headlines. Then afterwards came into the modern form of newspaper with the at the top you have the headlines with bold banners. Then extensive use of illustrations. Illustration is a kind of a drawing or some pictures or something like lot of usage of pictures and some drawings were being used on the newspaper. And expanded coverage or organized sporting events. Some sporting events, when they are organized, they are also being published in that. Then owes its existence to the 1890s. So in 1890s, these kinds of newspaper came into existence. Then the rise of yellow journalism also marks this era. Yellow journalism, in that word meaning, the meaning is given. Journalism that is based on sensationalism and exaggeration. Means here sensationalism means something which is being presented by putting some spices on that, something like that. And then exaggeration means overstate to make something worse, something better, worse, or seem larger, etc. That is exaggeration. So this was that about the yellow journalism. In that particular era was also in that era we had yellow journalism also rise in the yellow journalism. Then by the year 20th century, all the essential features of the recognizably modern newspapers had emerged. So by the early 20th century, so all the modern newspaper, they emerged. Then we have broadcast media. Broadcast media is news that is broadcast, means it is being given to the people via radio and television. So technological adjustment contributed to the change in the modern conveying messages to the public. Now technologically there was a lot of change related after the print media. We have certain that a particular change. What is that? Related to the technology means we switched on to radio and television. Means before we used to see the news, means we used to read the news and we used to get that news, but now we'll hear it and then afterwards we'll watch it too. So what was that? Technological advancement contributed to the change in the mode of conveying messages to the public. The urgency, speed of message transfers and the need to reach a large number of people led to the development of mass media. So what happened after that, as this technological development was there, advancement was there. So what were the advantages of that? If there is any sort of urgency of conveying the message, then it was very easy to convey. Then the speed of the message transfer, it just increased, and the need to reach a large number of people means if you want to convey the message to the large number of people, and it was also possible through broadcast media. So this has developed the mass media a lot. And then first we'll look at radio. In the early decades is a time period of 10 years. Okay. In the early decades of the 20th century, the first major non-print form of mass media that existed was the radio. So it was not being printed, it is non-printed mode, and that was radio. That was the first one. It became extremely popular as it had the unprecedented ability of allowing a great number of people to listen to the same program or news at the same time. So at the same time people were able to listen to the news on the radio, and that was its great advantage. And what is that? Unprecedented, that is never done or known before. It was not being It was never before known, this radio, and now it came into existence. So after that, all forms of news were conveyed through the radio. Whatever kinds of news were there, all those kinds of news were conveyed to the people through radio. The radio also gave rise to the creation of different forms of entertainment. Then after radio came music programs and all that. Different types of entertaining programs came into existence. Music program came, then sometimes a drama or something is also, and some interviews on the radio, that also we were able to hear on that. Then let's see television. Television, which consists of an image being converted to electric impulses. Television, what is television? On television we just see that the images are being converted into electric impulses. Impulses means a force or movement of energy that just reacts. Movement of energy that is the center of reaction, transmitted through wires or radio waves. These impulses are electrical impulses are being transmitted, means transformed through wires or radio waves, and then converted into images, and then they are converted into images. Existed before World War II. So before Second World War, this television came into existence, but gained mainstream popularity in the 1950s. So mainly it became very popular during the year 1950s. Then the accessibility and attraction of watching moving pictures from the comfort of home resulted in a decline in the popularity of other forms of mass media such as radio. So when television came into existence, what happened? This radio, it didn't have that kind of popularity among the people, because now watching the movable pictures, it was very much entertaining, and that was even by not only listening the news, but we were able to watch the news on the television, and that made television very popular during 1950s. However, in the initial days and until the late 20th century, television was extremely expensive for many people. So for many people it was not that, they were not capable of purchasing the television, but after 20th century, many means around all over the world, all the houses, all the people in their family, they have television, at least one set. Then during this time, the sets could only display a maximum of 3 colors. So during that time, only 3 colors were being displayed, that is black, white and grey. So these were the 3 colors which were being displayed, that we just we can see, we can hear. You people, now you haven't seen black and white TV and all that. Before it was there. You can just ask your grandfather or grandmother, or maybe possible sometime, maybe possible that your father or your mother might have seen that black and white television. You can ask them about that. Then in the late 20th century, so during the late 20th century, the world got its first color TV. So then there came into existence color TV. Since then, television sets have continually been upgraded. Then before there was some kind of simple TV, then we got LED, then LCD, LED, and now we have slim and smart TVs and all that. Okay. So today almost every home has a television, and there are cable networks and hundreds of channels that showcase a variety of programs ranging from news, entertainment, cinema and sports to education. So during this time of COVID-19 pandemic, television played a great role in our lives too. And even the mobile phones. Then what is that? It conveyed us the news related to the coronavirus and all that. And then it entertained us when we just felt very bored during this lockdown period. Then cinemas and sports and education, these kinds of information we just started getting on television. So this is about broadcast media. I have today I just completed 2 topics, that is print media and broadcast media. Hope you understood that whatever I have explained you. Then in the next video I'll explain you about the topic the internet. All of you are aware about that. There will be it is near about 4 paragraph explanation. And one more thing, that you people have done well in your class test number 2. Then after this, in the next video, just below the next video, I'll take test on chapter number 3, that is the postmaster. So please go through the chapter, means read it properly, so that you can answer the questions which I'll ask you. Thank you so much. Goodbye and take care.